All right, you ready?
Yeah, let me.
Gotta edit the unis.
I'll go. I'm repping the blue tonight. I'm wearing my Matisse Thybulle jersey, so.
Okay. Did they put the new statement? They did. People hated this uniform when it dropped, but I kind of like it.
I kind of like it too. It's not bad. It's it's better than that Sixers jersey that came out.
Yeah. I didn't hate the Sixers jersey either.
It just looks too much like the Berenstain Bears logo for me.
What's wrong with the Berenstain Bears?
I just don't want them to represent my basketball team.
That's fair. All right, Trey, while we're getting this game tipped off, why don't you tell the audience a bit about yourself?
Yeah, okay. So my name is Trey Barnett. I write for Philly Sports Network with Andy. I also do the 50 Shades of NBA podcast, and yeah, that's about it.
Filthy name. How'd y'all come up with that one?
My advisor actually told me to do it because my old Twitter account used to be 50 Shades of Trey.
Okay.
And so he was like, "That's the greatest name of all time. You need to keep it going." So
I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is the most despicable matchup in the world. If I don't hit, okay, all right, cool. Like, if I don't hit that, I'm just gonna quit right there. End the podcast.
Definitely had a mouse in the house.
Yeah. What are you thinking about the Blazers' upcoming season right now?
I'm actually excited. I don't really know what to expect. It's pretty much a brand new team from last season, especially when you consider that Dame didn't play last year because of the injury.
Yeah.
Going to be walking into a locker room with pretty much all new teammates, but I like the construction. There's a few holes in the roster. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm not the biggest Yusuf Nurkic fan. He kind of infuriates me as a starting center.
Yeah, he's kind of mid, like the definition of mid.
I think he's really talented, but the things he's good at aren't really the things you want from your center anymore. Like, he's a good playmaking hub, but that's, taking the ball out of Dame's hands. Filthy.
Yeah. Filthy. Lost him the sauce.
He's an okay positional defender, but he's not like a shot eraser or like a real rim protector. So that gets tough. It gets dicey. You kind of have to play him in a drop coverage, which, as we found out, isn't ideal anymore in today's NBA, especially with everyone pulling up from deep. So it just gets tricky. But, Dame loves him. He plays hard. He's part of the soul of this team, so I get why they extended him. Personally, since I don't have any personal attachment to him, I would have traded him long ago. I think Dame might be better off with maybe a below average center who can kind of just run and jump.
Yeah.
Someone who's a lob threat and can block shots and deter the paint. And that's my personal feeling, but we'll see. Aside from that, I think there's some real questionable depth at the forward position. A lot of similar archetype of players, like Josh Hart, Nazir Little, Gary Payton II. They're all guys who play above their height, but none of them really are ideal threes. As you can see, 2K thinks it's going to be Josh Hart that's going to be the starter. He started for them in their preseason game the other day. They went with Justice Winslow in their second game, though, so that's something they'll have to figure out. I think they're going to try to look at the trade deadline to fill that spot, but who knows? Some people think Shaedon Sharpe can be a 3 one day. I don't know about that. He's tall enough, but man, okay. I was like jacking it with James Harden.
James is probably the person I've played the most with in 2K.
Okay, I can see that. You got that shot figured out.
A little bit. I was worried about it translating to online, but it's working out fine apparently.
All right. I told Anthony to do a hop step there, but he just kind of wanted to go straight to the hole.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Okay, let's talk Sixers a little bit. Looks like 2K decided the starting lineup for the Sixers as well. You think this will be the starting group opening night?
I think it not what I currently have out there, but what it started with was PJ Tucker in at the 3, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be Harden, Maxey, PJ Tucker at the 3, Tobias Harris at the 4, and Joel at the 5.
Okay.
I think that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, I feel like that's what most people would run out there, just from like almost a name basis.
Yeah.
Do you think that will be the finishing group?
I do.
Well?
I don't think we're going to see major roster turnover. I think Montrezl Harrell is probably going to end up. I hate to say, I think he's going to end up getting traded. I think he's going to pull like the similar to what Andre Drummond did, where he was included in a trade package.
Okay.
I think the biggest reason he could be traded is just because, like, I know Daryl Morey hears us when we say we want Paul Reed to be that backup 5 or Charles Bassey to get the chance.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that's about it for trades. I do think we're going to end up rolling this into the playoffs. I think Matisse Thybulle is someone who can get traded.
Yeah.
Furkan, someone who can match salaries a lot of the time, because he's got a $5 million contract for the next, or $5 million each year for the next 2 years.
Right. And right now, I mean, they've got to be looking at maybe consolidating the roster, right? I mean, we've got, I think 18 players signed right now.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting the two-way guys.
Yeah, I think Queen is gone for sure. And I really think it's going to be Isaiah Joe or Charles Bassey who's the last cut.
Yeah.
If there's not a trade. And if there is a trade, it's going to be a Thybulle plus Korkmaz package, which is going to break my heart.
Yeah. I know you love Furk. I know you love Matisse as well. I think Matisse won't be traded till later in the year.
We have to know if he has to have that 3-point shot.
Right, yeah. It looks better so far, just from the clips we've seen. Is he out here? You gonna shoot a couple threes with Matisse?
I'll shoot it. Okay. All right. Deal. I'll shoot a 3 with Matisse. I'll shoot 1.
Let's go. Drew Eubanks, baby.
I'm actually a really big fan of Drew Eubanks.
Are you?
Yeah. His 2K face cam looks awful though.
He kind of looks like that in real life to me. He kind of always just looks like he woke up at like 4 a.m. hungover.
Oh, they took Thybulle out.
Oh.
They heard me threaten.
2K thinks Trendon Watford's going to get major burn. I could see that, though. I like Trendon Watford's game a lot.
Did he win Summer League MVP? Or like the finals MVP of the Summer League?
I want to say yeah.
I think so.
If I remember correctly. I like his game a lot. It's got a little, like, spicy P to it.
Spinny P.
Yeah, Spinny P. He's got that floater.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Right on cue.
How are you feeling about the Sixers bench this year compared to last year?
I love it, honestly. I think it's a million times better than I've ever seen it in my lifetime, or at least in my lifetime of watching the Sixers. So
yeah,
I love the D'Anthony Melton addition. I think if he's in the second unit with Matisse, and they have to, I think of there was a game the Sixers played Indiana and held them to like 9 points because they ran a zone defense with Ben Simmons and Matisse. I think Melton is the better version of that.
Okay. Better than Ben Simmons?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Just because he brings that extra threat, of just being able to play offense as well.
Yeah.
Like my first article for PSN was a pro Ben Simmons piece right before he passed up on the dunk. So I'm pretty deep down the well of pro Ben Simmons, honestly, but I am very happy that I don't have to defend him anymore. Like he's not on my team anymore. So that's helpful.
It does. That is helpful. I'm a fan of Ben's game, but I can't. I said this the other day to Zach and Justin. I can't think of 2 top 30 NBA players whose games fit together worse than Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a doomed pairing from the start. So maybe we'll get to see him flourish in Brooklyn. I like the idea of center Ben. I've always thought him being a small ball center is kind of the way to unlock him the most. But D'Anthony Melton, definitely a player to get excited about. The point of attack defense is there. The on-ball and off-ball offense is there. But he's not really much of a floor general. How do you think the second unit's going to be run?
I really think Shake Milton's going to end up playing the backup point guard minutes.
Okay.
I'm not as high on Shake Milton at point guard as I am like other people I wanted us to go for this offseason, but
right.
Currently on the Oh, cool. Currently on the Sixers though, he's the best backup point guard. I feel like, unless for some reason like James Harden is running your second unit because they stagger the minutes well enough.
Yeah.
Or even Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, I would think maybe Maxey gets more on-ball opportunities with the second unit, and they start kind of grooming his game that way as well.
Yeah, because he's not the best passer in the world right now, but we saw flashes of his passing ability in that like 8 minutes he played against the Nets.
Right, and I mean you kind of want Maxey to be fully unlocked heading into next year's playoffs. And that means developing his on-ball scoring, his go-to scoring edge, and his playmaking as well. So, like you said, this is one of the deepest Sixers rosters you've seen in your lifetime. The top-end talent is there between Maxey, Embiid, and Harden. The depth is there. Ooh, small ball center justice. I love this. What are some of the potential weaknesses you've seen in this roster?
Secondary playmaking. I don't really see any guy who's going to get you 6 assists other than, James Harden's going to get you probably somewhere from 9 to 12 next season. If he goes 12, it'd be insane.
Yeah.
But I really think after that, it's like Tobias is a solid playmaker, I guess.
He's okay.
He's fine. He's good for a power forward.
Right.
And then after that is, I guess, like Shake Milton, D'Anthony Melton type players who aren't like a point guard first type player, So I think that's probably what scares me the most coming into this season.
Yeah. There's guys who can find the open man, and then there's guys who can create plays and pass people open. Yeah. James Harden is probably the only Sixer that's the latter. Everyone else is maybe the first at best. Yeah. Except Joel, and I think they're kind of gonna have to lean into him a little bit for his playmaking ability. Have you noticed any significant growth from him as a playmaker?
For sure. 2 years ago, Joel Embiid, or 3 years ago, he would never pass out of a double team, and then. 2 years ago, he started passing out of his double teams, and ever since then, he's been MVP conversation. Like, the growth that he's had in that regard of being able to go, okay, I draw a double team almost all the time. I need to be able to find the open man out of that. Thanks for the ball. I don't know why it didn't go in, but I'm happy it didn't.
I'm missing. I can't green anything with Damian Lillard.
Yeah, but no, Joel, he's definitely exceeded expectations as a passer for me. But I don't know. I'm still worried about it.
Yeah, it's definitely something the Sixers need to reach their ceiling for sure, unless they make some roster moves for an additional playmaker. Like we were talking about, trading Tease, trading Harrell, maybe. There's plenty of point guard talent out there. So that's definitely something they can kind of shore up. If they were going that route, who's someone you might want to see them trade for?
The best backup point guard in the entire NBA, and I will stand on this ledge, I will jump from this ledge, I do not care. It is Tyus Jones easily. Like, miles above. I've been obsessed with Tyus Jones for the past 3 years as, like, the person I want in Philadelphia more than I want, like, air in my lungs.
Okay.
And so, maybe Jaden Springer is that type of guy who can eventually become that, but I would honestly, I'm ready to throw him in a trade for a Tyus Jones level backup point guard. I think if Mike Conley gets bought out for whatever reason and gets on that smaller contract, or is willing to take that smaller contract, that's a Matisse Green. That's a Matisse Green, Andy. Come on.
I think he's hit a 3 before Damian Lillard has. I don't think I've hit one with Dame yet.
That might be true. But no, a Tyus Jones level player is like what I would pass on Matisse, or I would trade Matisse right now if it meant I got Tyus Jones.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if the Grizzlies would be looking for additional wing depth. They're one of the few teams in the league who probably have enough wings and can say they don't need any more.
there's so many point guards in the league right now, and Tyus Jones is one of those guys who got re-signed on a team that doesn't need a Ferg type player. It's just, that stinks. But I'm a massive fan of Tyus Jones. I want to sing his praises here for a sec. Really just preying on the shot clock there for a second.
Exposing Matisse Thybulle.
How dare you?
A little bit overrated as a defender.
He's
just a tad.
How dare you? He's super underrated in 2K, in my opinion.
A lot of those kind of non-box score guys are.
Yeah.
Like Nurk, kind of. But, you can't really put what he does into a video game.
Yeah, that's fair. Who would some point guards be that you would look towards for that Sixers bench?
Tyus Jones would be the dream for sure, but we got to start looking at like the tanking teams or teams with an overabundance. Someone that kind of fits into that mold is maybe a Cole Anthony. The price would be steep, but the Magic are kind of stacked at young guard.
Yeah.
Between Suggs, Fultz, Cole Anthony. They just have plenty over there. Someone's going to lose out and not get the opportunities they want. And I mean, if Suggs plays well, you'd have to think it would be Cole Anthony just because he doesn't have the ceiling of either Fultz or Suggs. At least that's the perception. I think that would be a really exciting addition. I don't know if the Sixers have the ammunition to get that done, but that'd be something I'd look into. When you're looking at trading for Curtis, a team that could use either or both of those players is the Blazers. Both of those guys can play the three and defend the three, more importantly. But as loaded as the Blazers are at guard, they only have one true floor general as well, and that's Damian Lillard. Anthony Simons made strides as a playmaker last year, but he's still not there as someone you want leading an offense full time. Their backup guards figure to be Josh Hart, Nasir Little, Gary Payton II. Good secondary playmakers, but also not people you want on ball all the time.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think Delon Wright is a type of player that the Sixers more realistically would be able to trade for. Something like that veteran journeyman type backup.
Yeah, where's Delon Wright playing now?
That's a great. I think Washington. Washington.
We'll do a fact check on that for the video.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Washington.
Who he play for?
He's in the league somewhere.
Yeah, I wanted to say he was on the Hawks last year.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Hawks and Pistons, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or Pistons, Hawks.
Someone who can kind of just get downhill and create opportunities for others. And he doesn't, as a backup point guard for the Sixers, they're not going to get a lot of burn, maybe 15 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Someone like Delon Wright would fit pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of players who could be available that Daryl just knows about and just hasn't pulled the trigger yet because he wants to know what he has before he starts trading things away, which I am very thankful for his existence.
So what are your expectations for the team overall? What would be like exceeding them? What would be kind of underwhelming for you?
I think underwhelming would be anything less than probably the 4th seed in the East, right?
Okay.
And I would feel properly whelmed if they got like 4th seed in the East, 3rd seed in the East, and they got they got to the 2nd round. That would
really?
That'd be
whelmed.
I'd be whelmed until they lose in the 2nd round, and then I'd be underwhelmed. But
okay,
if they can 4-0 sweep in the 1st round, I'll be whelmed, and that's satisfying to me. In terms of like, yeah, I don't want this, but that's fine. Whatever, trade everyone. I don't care anymore. Like that level of depression that comes from being a Sixers fan.
Okay, as of right now.
As of right now, yeah.
If you peeked into the future and you saw that they lost to, say, the Bucks in the Eastern Finals or the Eastern Semis. Would you say they got upset? And if so, what other teams would you make that claim for?
I think the Bucks are one of the only teams that I feel like if they lost to the Bucks in, let's say, 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals, I would be like that. That's what I want in terms of like obviously I want a championship, but I just want to know that Joel can get out of the second round because he hasn't his entire career, and as much as like that's not just his fault, it is just like true that he's only made it to the second round and no further.
Right.
He's done it multiple times. So if he makes it to the third round and loses to a team like the Bucks, no, that's about it. If he loses to the Bucks, I'll be fine in terms of like I'll have faith in the Sixers still. But if they lose to the Celtics, if they lose to the Heat, God forbid the Raptors, like
won't be the Raptors.
It won't be the Raptors, but if it's like the Bulls or something, I'm gonna be so upset. And if it's the Nets, I might like just quit my job.
Yeah, full strength Nets. Is that a rational talent comparison, or is that just it's Ben Simmons' new team, we can't lose to them kind of thing?
It's the second one. It is not the first one. It is definitely it's Ben Simmons' team. I think the Nets are gonna shock a lot of people, which I don't want to admit in terms of like going from the seventh seed last year to potentially like in reality a 4th seed.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely still have some holes on the roster for sure, but I mean, if the 3 guys are playing well and they play a full season, there's no reason they couldn't compete for a top 3 seed.
Yeah. Plus, they added Royce O'Neal in the offseason, which
TJ Warren,
Bubble God.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if the Nets are up there at the top of the East. Do you see the Sixers team as a regular season successful team?
I think for the first time, I think that they could be. They legitimately feel like a championship level team, like a contender, not a pretender. Just because bring in PJ Tucker, who has, I think he's like 20th for current active players for amount of like games played in the playoffs. He's got like 100 and something. And adding Daniel House, who has, playoff success with the Raptors or the Rockets, not the Raptors. But adding those players, adding D'Anthony Melton, who's been to the playoffs the last 2 years with Ja, like playoff experience is not something you can mathematically measure, but it's something that is like so clear in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's pretty monumental how much impact James Harden is going to have on this team, especially in the playoffs. Travel. I didn't see it.
I told him to go to shoot towards the basket, and he faded away. So that was interesting.
Damian Lillard post lockdown.
Dame.
Okay, but yeah, James Harden, has kind of built this reputation for fading in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you take stock in that? Do you hope that can go away, or you don't believe in it at all? What are you expecting from him this year?
I think that there's stock in it just because it is like, at some point it's a fact that, hey, your numbers get worse in the playoffs. Whether that's...
No, I'm going to lose by 1. I can feel it. And
that's
because of that play.
Ridiculous. All right, that's time. Point Joel. No, so I do think that there's a point in time where you just gotta go, yeah, there's stock in it just because, yes, your numbers statistically are worse in the playoffs for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Come on, Joel.
Let's go. Okay. 4th quarter. Yeah, there's just some things you can't argue against. I mean, Damian Lillard, everybody loves him, but no one... I mean, not no one, but most people can't defend his performance against the Pelicans that year. With Jrue Holiday locking him up. I mean, there's some things you can say, like there was, no secondary scoring outside of him and CJ. That obviously didn't help, but still, he underwhelmed. And, It's just a fact, and he hasn't had a series that bad since, of course. But it's a blemish, and James Harden has blemishes on his reputation.
A lot more than Dame does.
Yeah.
In terms of playoff performance and expectation failure.
Yep. He's definitely had some of the highest highs we've seen in NBA history, and some of the lower lows as well, especially in the playoffs. You think this is kind of a prove it year for him?
I think it is. I think I haven't seen James Harden, like the last time he was this engaged with the team was Chris Paul's first year with the Rockets.
Right.
You know? And that year was almost it. Like he played far from perfect, but he did play extremely well.
Yeah.
And they almost knocked off the Warriors. So that in and of itself is just kind of ridiculous.
That's real.
Come on.
That's real life. That's what would happen.
Yep. But no, I think as far as that goes, right, like I like seeing locked-in James Harden. And a locked-in James Harden who doesn't have to carry the entire load offensively is even better for playoff chances. And I like that. So I really do think this is the closest we've seen to a contender in Philadelphia, like since probably Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris time.
Yeah, which was a pretty darn good team. Wasn't perfect. I mean, like I said earlier, Ben and Joel didn't fit together. Ben and Jimmy don't fit well together either, but
they not.
They just kind of made it work just from a sheer talent standpoint and being great at defense. Oh my, this is a problem. We need to do something about Joel. But
you can do nothing.
I don't have any answers. It's just Yusuf Nurkic.
Go trade for Clint Capella. That is your answer.
Oh no!
Point Joel. Cross him up. Cross him up, Joel. Did it. Euro. Okay. Dang it.
So back to James Harden. So do you think last year was more of an indicator of what we're going to see from him moving forward, or do you buy into that it was mostly his hammy injury and we're going to see a completely different, revitalized James Harden?
I definitely buy into the fact that I believe it was mostly his hammy as well. Great shot. That was really good timing for how covered you were. Yeah, no, I believe that it was mostly his hamstring, which, you know, that sucks. Like, hamstrings are awful. I think Iman Shumpert was doing an interview about Harden. He's like, dude, he has an injured hamstring. Like, you can't do cardio. You can't do anything. Like, that's so hard from like an NBA player standpoint. And so I think if it was his hamstring, awesome. We're getting, 25 and 10 from James Harden this season. If it wasn't his hamstring, awesome. We're getting 20 and 11 from James Harden this season. Like, James Harden's down year is still like one of the best seasons that like a point guard can have. Right. He was still like top 10,
Absolutely.
Oh, Daniel House. Don't know.
Never shot a free throw with Daniel House, huh?
Not a single time in my life. Oh, that's unfortunate. Daniel, get out of here.
The new shooting mechanics are interesting for sure, but I've enjoyed the game overall for sure.
I have as well.
Yeah, it's the most challenging one for sure. I've got like 18 losses already against the computer just playing my NBA, which is exciting because like usually I just kind of sleepwalk through the season, don't really even pay attention, and I'm just killing it on Hall of Fame. So I like that.
Yeah, I do too. It's significantly more fun having that level of I disagree.
Let's go.
Having that level of competition.
Let's go, Nurk.
I fundamentally disagree with Nurk out rebounding Joel any point in time ever.
Let's go, Nurk. But yeah, a lot can be said that a healthy James Harden would be the best teammate Joel's had for sure. When Jimmy was here, he wasn't quite fully unleashed superstar Jimmy yet, especially with the roster construction around him. James Harden can definitely top that level of impact. But a healthy Joel Embiid is also by far the best teammate that James Harden has ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely is exciting to see what this team can do fully healthy with the full season together.
Yeah.
Come on, Anthony. Let's go. Dunk contest winner, Anthony Simons. Get it,
yeah.
Let's go.
I was being exposed. 2K fraud.
An and one alley-oop layup from Big Nurk. That's what you want to see.
All right, James. It's time to be James Harden.
It's about to have to put the team on his back. As for the Blazers, big concern is okay.
It's over.
Exactly that. Guard defense. They did move on from CJ McCollum. I fully believe that Anthony Simons can be a better defender than CJ McCollum. Just from an athleticism standpoint, he has all the tools to be a good defender. He hasn't been one yet, so he's gonna have to prove that he can be that. Okay, that's money. No more basketball talk.
Podcast over. We're just gonna focus on this game, and everyone's gonna have to watch it. Joel is a big man.
Yeah, he is.
I took my girlfriend to go see him and the Bucks play at Fiserv.
Yeah.
And because I'm in Iowa, and so it's just like a 3-hour drive up to Milwaukee.
Okay.
And we went there. My girlfriend, she's not like an NBA fan. She like knows some people. She knows like the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Her favorite person in the entire world is Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. That's it. Like
great
she's in love with them.
Is that why?
Yeah. No, she said Tyrese is fast and Joel is big, and that was her reasoning.
Yeah, it's good reasons.
I was like, that's a fact for sure.
Let's go.
I think you have like 4 and 1s this game.
Dame time. Oh, choked.
Dame time.
That wasn't Dame. That was me. Everybody. That's fair. My wife's favorite NBA player is by far Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because he's literally a Greek god.
Yeah, he is. No, he is. I got a tour Fiserv with my school, and that was probably one of the most fun experiences. That my Twitter profile picture is literally just me on the court at Fiserv before the game. And during that game, I got to watch Giannis destroy the Knicks, and that was disgusting.
Yeah, I got to catch more NBA games in person now that I've moved to Dallas. We definitely plan on getting out there. Giannis is on the to-go see list for sure. Obviously, the Sixers are. Maybe we can get some media credentials. There it is. That was down to the wire, but pulled it away. Dame time carried us over the hump.
I think James Harden shot like 5 for 20 or something like that. It had like 12 free throws.
Yeah. Nothing crazy too unrealistic about our simulation here. I honestly don't know if the Blazers will get a win against the Sixers this season, but it's not impossible when you have a player like Dame.
You do have Dame. You have Simons who can go off at any point.
Mm-hmm. I think you needed to give Joel more touches, dude. And it's tough in 2K.
I definitely, I realized that later.
Yeah.
In the fourth. So in the second half, he had 14 points. In the first half, he had 4.
Yeah. He had 18 on 9 of 12 shooting. He was eating in the post.
He was destroying Nurkic. And in real life, I mean, that's what's going to happen anytime. They're going to run that offense through Joel, which is, can only do good things, really.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Trey, thanks for coming on. Any closing thoughts?
Nothing, man. Just, follow me on Twitter at TreyB_PSN, and then listen to my podcast, 50 Shades of NBA. That's it.
All right, appreciate you coming on. We'll have to do this again.
I would love to. All right.
See you, buddy.
See you, Andy. Peace.